Good evening from InvestSharp. This is Randy Smotone with your Friday, March 5th market update. On the economic front, non-farm payrolls came in better than expected, down 36,000, and the February unemployment rate was unchanged at 9.7%, and the crowd roared. Well, you would think the crowd roared anyway. Market was on a pretty good rally today, so that was a positive. We love that. So there are no economic announcements until next Tuesday, so don't have to worry about any Monday. The dollar was down today, gold was flat, silver, copper, and oil were all up. So let's go take a look at the dollar via the UUP ETF. So as you can see, as we're going up, we have this bearish divergence on MACD, even though I keep hearing all about stay long the dollar. Well, I don't know if that's the right right trade or not. Looks like it might be. I mean, it may not. It may come right back down to this 2340-ish area or whatever. It may not break down from there. I don't know, but it looks like to me it's it's not very strong right now. And the euro actually is FX via the FXE, the ETF. It seems like it's stabilizing here. So it's got a little bit, draw a little trend line here, and it's making higher lows. So we'll see how that plays out next week. Light sweet crude futures were up $1.29 to settle at $81.50 a barrel. Let's go over to the point and figure chart on West Texas Intermediate crude, and we printed a new box. So these are 1 point box sizes. We did print the 82. We got to 82.07 today. So I think crude is, it may go a little higher. I'm not sure how much higher. It's got a price objective of 107, so we'll see if it gets there or not. Let's take a look at the Dow chart. So the Dow closed up 122 points to 10,566. S&P closed up 15 points to 1,138. Nasdaq closed up 34 points to 2326, and the Russell closed up 13 points to 666. That's scary, 666. Okay. The Russell was the largest percent gainer, up 2.08%, and the Dow had the smallest percent gain, up 1.17%. So we are flying through this level of some resistance. Should have some up here around the 10,600 or so level. We sit there and took us a while to break through there, so that should have. We've got overhead resistance above us. And let's look at the S&P 500. All right, so the S&P 500, we're flying higher right here. I do think we will get to 1,150 here, probably maybe next week sometime. Now we've been looking at the. Actually, let's go look at this here. Yeah. So the only thing now for my MACD I've got drawn here, and this isn't exact science or anything, but we do have, we've kind of ran into it before. So we'll see if we can. I'd like to see, first to continue higher, I'd like to see this MACD line here make a higher high than this MACD line did back here in January. So we'll see if that plays out or not, but it is something to watch. And then we've been watching this, as I talked about on the S&P 500 60-minute chart. We had this head and shoulders bottom. So if you take the bottom here up to about the neckline here, it's about, this isn't exact, but it's about 60 points. That's what we'll call it. We'll say it's about 60 points. So our target would be 1,170 on the S&P 500 for this to play out. So it's looking good. The MACD, is still looking fine. So we are getting pretty, I'll show you that here on the McClellan, but we are getting pretty overbought. So I'm not sure, how much higher we can go. It would actually be healthy if we had a few percent pullback. So before we move higher, if that's what we do is move higher. Let's see. Let's look at the let's look at Goldman, because I know a lot of people are playing Goldman. There is some the downtrend line resistance here on Goldman. We're not too far from it. So keep an eye on that on Goldman if you're playing this one. Now I don't. I mean, it may just come back and and then turn back up, and it has a little bit of gap here, so it might fill that gap. But it's just something to watch out for. Whoops. So if you look at the XLF, where we came here and we broke out here on the XLF to go higher. Let me delete that line. Okay, so we've got overhead resistance of the downtrend line on the XLF, the financial sector ETF as well. So it's just something to be aware of. We did have kind of light volume today, so it wasn't real light, but it was not awesome volume. But we go up on light volume all the time. Let's look at the McClellan. So I've been talking about it. We're up to 75. So if you go back here, let me set the McClellan on a weekly chart, maybe, and then update it. Maybe they'll show you better if you can see it here. Okay, so back in as high as we've ever been, and this was back in actually '08, we got to 120 on the McClellan before this nasty little pullback here. So you see, if you look right here, we are right in line with pulling back. I mean, so I don't know how much higher we'll go. I mean, we could do this again, but we're definitely in that area that, hopefully you've been kind of taking some profits last week, like I said, and took some possibly today. So, and I mean, I still think the market's pretty strong. I don't expect it to just fall apart, but it's just, something to definitely be aware of, that the McClellan is definitely getting overbought. Did I say oversold earlier? I don't know. It's overbought if I said oversold. So let's look at the sectors. All 16 sectors we follow finished in the green today. The biotech index had the largest percent gain, up 4.16%. Software index was the weakest, up 0.59%. So there's a look at the sectors. Let's take a look at the GLD for the gold ETF. We're still right here. Can't seem to go anywhere on gold right now. Silver pulled back today as well, but it does look, it's looking a little stronger, and it's got up here against my resistance on my MACD that I've got drawn on silver. And JGC, the copper ETF, this V-shaped bottom. MACD is looking better on it for some possibly higher prices, but it is struggling up here in this area with these shooting stars candlesticks. Let's go look at the point and figure. Let's look at gold today. So the point figure on gold, and this is the continuous contract, future contract. So you can see we're right in this area. Bullish price objective on gold is 1,300. We're at 1,134 right now. So it still looks fine. Don't really see anything there. Silver, we have been on a sell signal, and we are still on a sell signal. Bearish price objective, it's a sell signal. We're right here, and we've got some this downtrend line resistance up here around the 1750 to 18. And then copper, point and figure chart, bullish price objective 444, which is $4.44, whatever. So we're right here on copper. We will go on a sell signal on copper if we come back to the 328 area. We need to take one box out, print one box below the previous column of O's to go on a sell signal. So, but it's on a buy signal. It's looking all right. And of course, it's Friday, so there is no chart watch on Fridays. I will post my weekly watch lists out Sunday evening. Let's go over and take a look at the current market signals. We follow the point and figure charts of the Dow, NASDAQ, S&P. So the rally today actually pushed the price objective on the NASDAQ even higher. So we have a new price objective on the NASDAQ to 2,570, and on a point and figure world, there is no time frame for this. And it may not even play out because, of course, we're dependent on news. Let's take a quick look at the NASDAQ. I do want to point out, and I talked about this, we are right up against this quadruple top that has been resistance on the NASDAQ. So it's something to watch for, but I'm guessing at some point we're going to break through it. I mean, we've tested it and hit it. We keep hitting it. We're going to break through. We just need volume. So watch for a print of 2,330. And that would print, one that would be a quadruple top breakout for the Nasdaq. So that is it for today. Thanks for watching and have a great weekend.